Hello and welcome to another collection video. I did it with a 3DS, now I did it with a DS. We start with Raw number 1. Final Fantasy Ring of Fates is a part of Crystal Chronicles, and you have to be a fan of Crystal Chronicles. Game is, I think it's okay. It's nothing really special. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy system ever, but it's okay. And if you're a jerk like me, believe me, you have it in your collection. This is the German title Gehirnjogging. I think it's called Brain Games or Brain Training or something like the Dr. Kawashima. I think both games are really nice and really enjoyable. I think they're more fun when really brain training, but it's decent concept. It works on the DS. I think give both games a try. Final Fantasy: The Four Heroes of Light. The edition of Final Fantasy IV. This is a game you can get if you're a really good fan of for Final Fantasy IV. Final Fantasy IV has a lot of fans, I think, due to its great story of Cecil, Kain, Rosa, and Rydia, of course. I think it's worth to play. It's interesting. I think this concept works on the DS. So I think this is a Final Fantasy that you can get. And maybe you have a little bit fun with it. The next one is a nice game. It's an adventure in Serial Noir, Hotel Dusk, Room 215. It's a nice game. I think it's good looking. It works on the DS. You can play it as a book. I think this is a game that was built for the DS. So I think this is your kind of game if you like adventures, if you like crime stories. This is your game. Project Rub and Rub Rabbits. I think both games were made on crack, but they work. It's absolutely fun, absolutely weird story. A boy sees a girl and wants to impress her. It's absolutely idiotic, but it makes so much fun. The minigames are really interesting. You see Project Rub, so you have to do a lot of things with the DS. But it's really, really fun to play. It's a crazy hell of a fun, both games. I like them. Maybe if you're a sicko like me, you like them too. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. This is the DS version. I think I get it because it has different events than the Wii version. But you have to be a fan of a track and field games if you like it. It's okay, but it's nothing really special. Final Fantasy XII Revenant Wings. Final Fantasy XII, I think it's still a Star Wars ripoff, and this game is not very different, but it's playable. If you're a fan of a Final Fantasy saga, maybe you can get it. If you don't like 12, don't like 12. Don't take 12 Revenant Wings. Believe me. But still, it's a good game. Maybe you're interested in this. Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. To be honest, this is my only Castlevania on the DS, but I think all of the games work fine on the DS. Castlevania was great on the GBA. It's great on the DS. If you get these games, they're absolutely worth it. Kirby Power Paintbrush. I think it was one of my first titles for the DS, and I'm a huge Kirby fan. I love this pink ball, and I think it has a lot of charm, a lot of style, but this game is boring, stupid. Skip it, believe me. Kingdom Hearts 358 and 2 days. And it has Roxas on it. If you watched my PSP collection, you know I'm a huge fan of Roxas. No, I'm not. So I have the same problem with this game, with the PSP version, Birth by Sleep. I don't like Roxas. I don't like the story. It makes Kingdom Hearts so boring and so idiotic. It's like the Raiden in Metal Gear. It's the same thing. So this was the first step. After the cut, there will be more. Now it's time for the second part, and of course I have also Pokemon games on the DS. I think I got Diamond, I think just as a cartridge, so I got really all Pokemon games on the DS. I think no, Black and White is missing. It's Pokemon on the DS. What do you expect? Math training from Professor Kageyama. It's not so interesting. I think it's not so funny or not so good. It's a little bit too repetitive for my taste. Just these math rows. I think it's a little bit too boring. Final Fantasy III, the first Final Fantasy III in Europe, and it was on the DS. So what do you expect? I have to buy it, and it's okay. It's Final Fantasy III on the DS. So if you're in Europe, go and get it. And I also got Nintendogs, yes, because it was presented by Eva Padberg, you see in the left corner. It's Nintendogs on the DS. That's the thing. I don't know how good it is on the 3DS, but I think it's nearly the same. It's a sim. What's the game? Sports Island DS. It's also a mixed bag. I've got the Sports Island series on the Wii, all 3 games I think. I know there is now a Kinect version, and I know there is a 3DS version of Sports Island. It's okay, but it's a little bit too mediocre. I think you are better with a new international track and field game. It's a little bit more funny, more corny, but it's also very better playable. This is a real track and field. For 2 games, you have a really strong collection on games, on card games, board games. It's really nice. I think it's worth to get it. Last window. It's the, should I say, sequel to Room 215. If you like the first one, you will like the second one. It's okay. It's not so great like the first one, but it's nice to play. Trauma Center Under the Knife. If you want to cut bodies legally, this is your way. I think it's okay. It has the typical anime style humor. I think this wasn't the really best game of a series, but it's playable. Polarium is a puzzle game. It's really fun to play. It's nothing special. If you get the drill, it's still repetitive, but it's playable. It's funny. It's okay. It's a game if you have some time to waste, maybe. So it's your kind of choice. This is Easy Piano, and you have a piano add-on for the DS. It's a nice thing, but you see the keys are a little bit small. I think it's not a way to learn piano the better way, but it's a good thing to use the DS for more than just logic and mini games, I think. So this was the second part. After this cut, there will be the last part. See you. It's time for the final part. We start with New Super Mario Bros. Never heard of him. Haha. This is New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, and it's a nice game. It's nothing really special, it makes nothing really new, but it's okay. It's fun. It's nice to play. WarioWare touched. I love the Wario. WarioWare are awesome mini games. Absolutely freaking sicking awesome. This game is absolutely gigantic. It's a masterpiece. It makes really fun. If you like corny humor, this is your kind of game. And now, hoo-ah! Super Princess Peach. Now you have a game where Princess Peach rescues everything. Mario is captured. What happened? This is a really nice game, and I think it's a game to treat the princess right. This is a really nice game. It's not so difficult. It's more on the easy side, but it's a great game. It's really funny. I think I played it through on the same day or on the next day. It was really easy, but it makes so much fun, and believe me, you will like the princess with all her 4 emotions. Believe me. And the mighty umbrella, of course. Professor Layton, the game 1. Yes, I'm still playing the Professor Layton series, and I'm thinking to get the rest of the bunch. But I'm still thinking. I think it's a nice puzzle game, but I only got the first one, so I know the other parts are maybe better or have my story, but it's a great series, of course. And now my favorite series, Phoenix Wright. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 miles. The first one is really nice, makes a lot of fun if you like adventures, if you like court stories, and very anime style humor, corny humor, all the things you know. This is your kind of game. It's absolutely brilliant. Has a lot of text, has a lot of dialogue, of course, but this is a great game. The second part was a little bit different, was a little bit more extreme, so I think this is maybe not so good as the first part. The third part is absolutely gigantic. It's perfect. It's the best Phoenix Wright story ever. This is absolutely a complete masterpiece. You need this game. Apollo Justice, where some, I think he is in, you play one episode with Phoenix, but the most time you play as Apollo, and Apollo is boring. Believe me, I don't need Apollo, and I think this is the weakest game of the series. The fifth game is a little bit different. Investigations with Miles Edgeworth, and it's more adventure, more different, and it's interesting how they or how Miles remembers Phoenix in this game. Phoenix is never mentioned, but believe me, Phoenix is present. I know there was a second part of this game, but I think this is only released in Japan till today, but I think it's coming. And I know there will be a crossover between Phoenix Wright and Professor Layton, and I think this could be a great crossover. So, this was it. This was my collection. If you like this video, please rate, leave a comment, subscribe if you want, and believe me, there will be more in the future. See you!